pilots of an Air Canada DC-9 are in a race against the clock. A fire has taken hold on board, and with each passing second, the smoke thickens and the pilots lose critical instruments. Passengers cough and choke on the toxic fumes, desperate to escape the burning plane. Will the pilots manage to land their stricken jet before it's too late, or will the fire consume their chances? This is the story of Air Canada Flight 797. Thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. On the afternoon of June 2nd, 1983, 41 passengers and 5 crew boarded a McDonnell Douglas DC-9 in Dallas, Texas. They were bound for Montreal, in Canada, with a stopover in Toronto. The first leg of the route to Toronto was expected to take about 3 hours. Even back in 1983, more than 40 years ago, the DC-9 was an aging aircraft. By that point, its design was almost 20 years old, and McDonnell Douglas had just stopped producing new ones the previous year. The aircraft was still in widespread use, however, and had proven itself as a workhorse for airlines around the world, with almost 1,000 being produced. This particular airframe had been in service for 15 years, and had been with Air Canada for all of that time, operating many of the airline's short-haul routes. But it had a rather checkered past. 3 years previously, as the airplane levelled off at its cruising altitude after departing Boston, the aft pressure bulkhead, the domed structure which keeps the plane a sealed container, cracked, causing an explosive decompression. As the air inside the cabin rushed out the back of the plane, it and the debris it carried caused extensive damage, destroying flight control components and other critical aircraft parts. The damage was so severe that it took months to repair, with the airline replacing both rear lavatories as well as splicing and rearranging bundles of electrical wiring. Whether it was a direct result of these repairs or something else entirely, a different kind of problem would befall Flight 797 on this day. One which was far more insidious and far more deadly. The passengers knew nothing about this troubled history as they took their seats and settled in for departure. For the pilots, however, it was a different story. The captain of this flight was 51-year-old Donald Cameron. Cameron had an immense amount of flying experience, having racked up 13,000 hours, almost 5,000 of which were on the DC-9. He had been with Air Canada for 17 years at this point. To his right was 34-year-old First Officer Claude Ouimet. He had joined Air Canada 10 years previously, and had accumulated 5,500 flying hours, about half of which were on the DC-9. By all appearances, the passengers could not have been in safer hands. Both pilots knew that this aircraft had had its fair share of issues, with multiple components exhibiting repeated failures. In the past year, the tech log had documented 76 entries concerning the aircraft's 2 engine-driven generators and the auxiliary power unit generator. Not the clean bill of health that a pilot or passenger would want, ideally, but at least for this flight, things appeared to be working normally. At just after 4 o'clock that afternoon,